The NBA offseason has officially started. Let's just get right into it. So Memphis has traded Jonas Valanciunas along with the 17th pick, the 51st pick to the New Orleans Pelicans for Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, the 2021 number 10 pick, a 40th pick, and a protected 2022 first round pick via the Lakers. Let's break this down. So there's a lot of things to take away from this. Let's just start from Memphis's end. So Memphis, basically, they have a lot of cap space going into the offseason, so they can absorb these contracts. So this isn't fully up to date because obviously the trade just happened and it's not really official yet. But here's their cap that they looked at, or looking at kind of what their situation is for this next season. So they don't really have, you can see their projected cap space is $24 million, and this is before getting rid of this $14 million by Valanciunas. So now they're absorbing 17 and 18, so that combines to be about, what is that? A little over 40 million, right? No. I'm terrible at math under pressure. So it's about 35 million. Sorry. So about $35 million in cap space coming in this year. Let's see here. I'm going to flip my camera because I'm looking the wrong direction. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, so shrink this down a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's take a look. So Memphis and New Orleans. So Memphis absorbs the contracts of Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe. Roughly 35 million, and they get rid of they obviously send out Valanciunas. Now Memphis, starting with them, so why would Memphis do this trade? So Valanciunas is isn't he 29 or something? I wish they showed me his name on the age here, but so he's about, I think he's 29, and he's going to be extended, or was looking to at least be extended for next season, and kind of get a contract. I guess he was up for an extension. So Memphis basically says, we're not going to put our fate into a center who's 29 years old, who isn't an all-star level center, and we're going to roll with bringing in two vets that, while they played poorly last year, Memphis is essentially saying we're going to buy low, but it's going to cost you 2 first rounders from New Orleans. So Memphis says we'll take 2 first round picks and 2 guys who will probably play pretty solid for us. I mean, Bledsoe as a sixth man, I think the days of Bledsoe being a guy who is a starting point guard in the NBA, I think that's gone, right? So now it's okay, maybe are there lineups that Ja can play along with Bledsoe, and Adams can be kind of a good defensive center in the middle for Memphis. I like it for Memphis a lot. The fact that they get, again, they are getting number 10, number 40, which is, I think, just a throw in pretty much. And then the 2022 first round pick from the Lakers. So this is from the, this is interesting. So this is from the Lakers deal with the Pelicans that landed the Lakers, Anthony Davis, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and Lonzo go to New Orleans. So that's actually really interesting that they're willing to go off of their pick this year, which is 10, and then the Lakers pick that's promised for next year. So yeah, Memphis, man, the more I look at this, now again, we'll get to New Orleans. Feel free to throw in the chat if you have any insights, but man, I am looking at New Orleans and I am seeing that this team is just like, I don't know exactly the direction that they're going in, because again, you're going to have to pay you're going to have to pay Valanciunas next offseason, and you traded away. Look, I know why New Orleans does it. New Orleans does it. Now we'll switch to New Orleans. New Orleans does this because they needed desperately to get off of those bad contracts of both Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe. And likewise, the money that was being put in was just awful. But also, the basketball play, the play on the court for these two individuals wasn't great for New Orleans last year. So now they're basically saying they probably had to add more draft capital to sweeten the deal for Memphis. So Memphis basically says, we're okay. We these two players in Adams and Bledsoe aren't the greatest. And, we're basically going to sit here and say, okay, well, we're not just gonna take those two guys off your hands. We need some draft pieces in return. So Memphis not only gets two solid veterans, they move up in the draft. New Orleans kind of has to bite the bullet of saying, okay, we got to sacrifice our top 10 pick, which is, I think understandable. And then also that next one from the Lakers in 2022. So that's going to be interesting to see where that pick lands, because I'm going to check on protections on this actually. So now that we've looked at the cap space, let's look at actually we can see it down here. So New Orleans has, this is the 2022 first round pick. Oh, is this getting updated now? I think this is getting updated now as we speak. Oh, it is. There it is. Steven Adams, New Orleans. Let's refresh this and see if it's me, if it might have been updated. Nope. This is still New Orleans. So the 2021 picks are updated here, as you can see. And let's see. So we got a chat here. It says, did either team get better though? Watching Memphis in that Utah Jazz series in the first round that they played, I see kind of the Jonas Adams kind of swap. I think that that's a little downgrade for Memphis, but they also add another guard in Bledsoe, who has been a guy who I think in a reduced role. If Memphis isn't going to say, hey, Bledsoe, go play 30 to 35 minutes a night for us. They're going to say, hey, come off the bench, maybe play a little bit alongside Ja. And, this is such a young team, man. Like Memphis is a really, really young team. And so they get two guys who have been to the playoffs, add some veteran experience, and then they also move up and get a top 10 pick. So I think Memphis does get a little bit better. Now, is it to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, like now instead of like being an 8th seed, they're going to be like a home court advantage team? No. But I do feel like they're adding depth. And maybe they have a target at number 10 that they really like. So to answer the question that was in the chat, I'm going to botch your name, but it's King. Is it King Queese? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. To answer your question, though, I think Memphis gets a little bit better. I don't see how New Orleans gets better. But this is kind of one of those moves that is really, kind of telling where New Orleans is at. New Orleans has to pay. We'll throw up their cap sheet right here. New Orleans has to pay, or at least is looking to pay, both Lonzo and Hart. This move tells me that they actually really want to keep both, or maybe one of them. And now they have the flexibility to do so. So, because they've shed 17 and 18, again, $35 million in cap. They've shed that, and in exchange, they're only getting 14 back. So 35 minus 14 is 21. So now they've freed up about $20 million in cap space. So yeah, it's that they can now extend Lonzo if they'd like to. They can now extend Hart if they'd like to. Now maybe they say, maybe we want to try to go get Kyle Lowry, right? And that's another thing that just comes to mind. They weren't going to be able to get Kyle Lowry with the current cap situation that they were in. So that actually just clicked in my head, is that Lowry's doing his thing, and Lowry's doing his ability to basically go and be a target for New Orleans. So yeah, that actually makes sense. So we already had the reports come out, I think it was from Woj or Shams, that says that Lowry's a target for New Orleans, right? And yeah, now it's looking that way. So this is an interesting trade. Personally, I'm not crazy or super high on Kyle Lowry going to this Pelicans team. I feel like they need more. I feel like hopefully it's just, I don't know. New Orleans, I understand why they do this trade, but at the same time, I just don't know. It doesn't make them better. Like, kind of going back to what the chat question was, is that I don't see either team getting drastically better, but I do see that it's a long-term thing. Memphis is able to walk away and say, hey, we're going to make the playoffs this year, play a pretty competitive series with the number 1 seed in the West and the Jazz, and then we're going to get a top 10 pick still, and then we're going to add these pieces, and then also trade away a guy who probably wasn't the future. Like, let's be honest, Valanciunas at 29 years old probably isn't the future for Memphis. Like, let's look him up on Basketball Reference just out of curiosity. Valanciunas will be going into a year where he'll be turning 29. So he is 29 right now. He just turned 29 in May. So do you really want to extend a guy who's 29 years old, who Valanciunas is an underrated center, don't get me wrong, but he's not an all-star center. So rather than pay, and you see these kind of trades happen all the time. A team says we are not going to go ahead and say, yeah, we're going to extend you, and if the extension talks just don't work, they're gonna trade him. They're gonna trade the player. So, that's just my personal opinion. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. More than happy to answer anything or get any opinions or kind of hear out anybody's ideas as to kind of what has gone on here with this trade. But yeah, again, if you're just joining us, the Memphis Grizzlies have traded Jonas Valanciunas, the number 17 pick, the number 51 pick in this upcoming Thursday's draft, to New Orleans for Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, the 2021 10th pick, the 40th pick, and a protected 2022 pick that was from the Lakers from the Anthony Davis deal. I was actually going to look at that before I think we got to the chat. King Hui says the GM has something up his sleeve. Hey, maybe. What do you think? What do you think he's got up his sleeve? I think the Lakers situation is actually going to be really interesting to see what the Lakers do. I think they could easily pull off something interesting. There was the rumors about them trying to be in the Westbrook sweepstakes or just trying to make a deal for Westbrook, but I don't see how that gets done. The Lakers are actually in a really interesting spot where they don't have high salary players outside of LeBron and AD, and I don't see you trading LeBron or Anthony Davis. So the trade 100% is going to have to contain one, if not both, of KCP and Kyle Kuzma. So, but yeah, I will be interesting to see what the Lakers do. So for sure. Here's our look at the 2022 picks. let's switch over to Memphis because I think the picks have been updated here. They have. Here it goes. So the Lakers pick that Memphis has now with this trade is now, let's see. So Memphis will have its own pick, Utah's pick, and the Lakers pick going into next year. Wow. And including a top 10 pick. Unbelievable. This is insane. What Memphis did, I think, is just incredible. Let's see here. Lakers, if the pick is 11 through 30, so assuming, I mean, I think we can all agree that the Lakers are probably going to make the playoffs next year. So that pick, wherever it may be, will be the Memphis Grizzlies. They will officially be their pick. Memphis will also get Utah's. So Memphis is going to get like two playoff teams picks next year along with their own. So that's just wild. And then Utah's will convey next year. And then as you see here, they have Utah's 2023 and 24. That's only if it doesn't convey. So like if Utah's in the top 6 or the top 3 or the top number 1 in 2024, like it won't convey and they will just turn into these second rounders in 2025 and 26. But yeah, let's see here. Like I said, feel free to throw any questions in the chat. Glad to answer anything. But again, Memphis Grizzlies, New Orleans Pelicans trade has occurred. It has happened. I think it's a great deal for Memphis. New Orleans, I think, here's what I'll say. I don't like to say like grading a trade. I don't like to say like a team won the trade. Now, you could make the argument that New Orleans won the trade in the sense that they got a player who's probably better than the other two. So Valanciunas is the best player in the deal. So that's why New Orleans makes the trade. However, it will be really telling to see what New Orleans does. Do they keep Valanciunas? Like, does New Orleans have anything up their sleeve to say, okay, maybe we want to move Valanciunas again, if possible, and go from there. Memphis. So Memphis now will have Eric Bledsoe and Adams under contract this year. And both of them expire in 2022-23. However, Eric Bledsoe's contract, I'm just seeing this now, is non-guaranteed for the year after. Yeah, so his guaranteed to date is 3 and 9. Non-guaranteed 2022. Yeah, so I mean, again, this only makes the deal even better for Memphis. Like Bledsoe doesn't even his money's not even guaranteed next season. Not next season, but 2022-23. Because the offseason is here. Draft is literally in a couple days, and we are already getting so many rumors. We have a trade today. Absolutely insane. Absolutely wild that this is happening. Should be a fun draft night, though. I think we'll get some trades. New Orleans was always a team that I was like, they have to make a deal because they needed to get off this Adams and Bledsoe money. So yeah, pretty cool. Feel free to throw anything in the chat if you guys have any questions, any statements. Who are you guys rooting for? Who are your teams? Who are your players? And feel free to click subscribe because we're going to be making more NBA content and hopefully doing more live reactions to different deals that happened throughout the NBA. We're also going to be doing a live stream the night after, or the night of the draft, after the draft has taken place. And then the next morning, we should also be doing another stream talking a little bit more about, potentially grading teams, if you can say. So, looking at this, so I don't like doing grades. I think Memphis blows it, just hits it out of the park with the trade. Amazing job by them. New Orleans, I would say this. I just think it's incomplete, right? It's an incomplete deal right now. So if they can like use the open cap space that they've opened up now, if they can be able to turn that into something, then cool. But maybe they go the Suns route and say, we're just going to get a veteran point guard, Lowry, in this situation, and kind of referencing Chris Paul. Maybe our young team can use a veteran point guard who's won a championship with Kyle Lowry, and maybe that's something that can help us get over the top. Willie Green, who is the new coach of the Pelicans, is now was the coach of the Suns, so maybe he has some inside kind of a feeling of that. Maybe he saw firsthand the Suns bring in Chris Paul, and see how they benefited from that, and then maybe he kind of shifts that thinking to say, okay, if New Orleans really wants Kyle Lowry, that might be the move that pushes them to a team that can actually make the playoffs. So yeah, I say a great trade for Memphis, an incomplete grade, if we can call it that, for New Orleans. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Again, anybody feel free to throw anything in the chat. We are gonna probably stream here for just a couple more minutes. I am gonna let's pull up Woj's Twitter feed here. Yeah, so sources say 22 will be top 10 protected. So I'm a little confused on this because I feel it is okay. Yeah, so we knew that, right? So Memphis's pick, if we scroll down to here, they own this pick. It's top 10 protected. So if the Lakers go into the top 10 next year, which is highly unlikely, then it will stay with the Lakers and then go from there. I'm pretty sure it will convey eventually, but we'll see. But likely going to be picked up now by Memphis, since I don't project the Lakers being bad next year. Let's see here. So we know that New Orleans creates a salary cap space for August that allows them to either match an offer sheet to Lonzo, so again, or have the cap space to pursue a significant free agent point guard, including Lowry and others. So if you're a team that is kind of like wanting to hold on to your point guard, wouldn't it be wild if Chris Paul just high and dry leaves? He this won't happen, but could you imagine he goes back to New Orleans with Zion and Ingram, and he just pulls another Suns. Let's see, Lowry. Other Pels liked Valanciunas as a floor spacer at center over Adams too. Yeah, I mean, Valanciunas, he is a floor spacer. He's not like a Kristaps Porzingis floor spacer, but he is a guy who I think is definitely going to help out, kind of clear out the paint for Zion. I'm just interested to see what will happen to the team when I'm just interested to kind of see what's going to happen with them after next season, because they'll have to re-sign him. Maybe, right? You would think. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. Yeah, breaking news. Yeah, I don't want to go into Twitter too much, but yeah, this is pretty much it. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the trade. Look at this guy. So GOAT Jordan here. I don't like to get into Twitter too much, but we're doing it for the next couple minutes. GOAT Jordan says, as a Grizzlies fan, I'm in pain. Grizzlies won the trade so hard. LOL, this trade seems like a fake one. Same, I literally thought this was fake Woj account. Yeah, no, this is a... Look, if you're a Grizzlies fan, be pumped up. Be pumped up. Grizzlies taking the L. What are the Grizzlies doing? Getting a top 10 pick? Lowry to Nola, Lonzo to Chicago. Yeah, I don't. What? Look at this 50 minutes ago. Getting a top 10 pick. That's funny. Yeah, no, this is a great look. I'll tell you what. Like, Adams is also another guy like who I think is so well respected in the league that I don't think like teams are going to be like, oh, we're never going to trade for Steven Adams. He's so bad. And like, I think if a team loses a center next year, maybe Adams is another trade option. So we'll see. I don't know. I personally believe that Adams is still pretty solid. And yeah, I think it's a great trade for Memphis. TBD on New Orleans. So looks like we quieted down here. So I am going to end the stream. Again, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more off-season stuff. Anytime a trade happens, anytime, I'll be making little videos. I am working on some off-season previews for some teams. I'm only doing about half of the league before the draft, and then the rest of the half of the league will come after the draft, just because I don't feel like, 70% of the league doesn't really care about the draft. It's just like the top 10 picks. And then, if there's a big draft day trade, then obviously we'll cover that. But the teams that are like going to be in the playoffs or who were in the playoffs, their draft doesn't mean as much as teams that didn't make the playoffs. So, yeah, that is it. I'm excited. I probably will have to go edit my New Orleans Pelicans offseason review or preview. But yeah, so cool. Thanks for joining me again. Like the video, comment, subscribe, all those different things. We're going to bring a lot more stuff to you. Okay. Have a good one, guys.